right, well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting day in mathematics. Warm-up 91 is on the screen. Put those cell phones away. Ah, my goodness. AirPods, earbuds, earplugs, whatever you call them, put them away, please. By now, you should be able to do that warm-up by yourself, the whole thing, to see how you do. The only one that's going to give you problems was number 5, which is the circle. I'm bringing it back. See how much you remember that. Copy and go. All right, here we go. Number 1. Looks like Martin's got it. All right. Let's see. What'd you get for number 1? Martin. 8.6. Hands if you got 8.6. Looks about right. And this is in between 64 and 81. Is that correct? Yes? All right. Number 2. Let me graph f of x equals x squared. Focus. There it is. F of x. Its vertex is at 0, 0. So, our new transform function should read g of x equals negative f of x plus 2 squared plus 3. Hands if you got something like that. All right. So, tell your neighbor we're going to move this one according to this and what else we're going to do. Tell your neighbor. Oh, and also give them the new vertex for that new one. The new vertex for that new one. New vertex. Martin, pass someone. Brandon Doherty. New vertex. Negative 2 and 3. And obviously he saw here the H and the K. That's how we get that. Okay. Which means we move it 2 to the left and 3 up. 2 to the left, 3 up. So our new vertex is up here. What else do we do, Brandon? According to that, flip it upside down. That is correct. So it's going to be about right there. That's my g of x. All right, not bad, not bad. Number 3, A, factors for x squared minus 6x plus 8. Factors. Pass someone, Brandon. Anthony D. X minus 4 and x minus 2. That is correct. All right. Number 3b. Factors for 3b. Share with your neighbor before Anthony D passes it to someone. What you get for 3b. All right, pass someone. Noah. Factors. You didn't get to that one? 4 times 3 is 12. The 8 goes down here. Factors of 12 that add up to 8, everyone. 2 and 6. 2 and 6. So I'm going to bring down the 4x squared. I'm going to bring down the plus 2 at the, plus 3. And instead of 8, I'm going to write the 2x and the 6x. Group. Group. GCF here is 2x. We're left with 2x plus 1. GCF here is 3. We're left with 2x plus 1. Factors, 2x plus 1. And we have the 2x plus 3 left over. Hands, have you got that by yourself? Yeah, some of us. Okay. All right. So far, so good? Yes? All right, number 3. Synthetic division. Let's go. My favorite. Let me make some room here. Here it goes. For the sake of time, I'm going to go over this one. Here it goes. Is it in standard form? Let's see. 3rd degree, 2nd degree, 1st degree, 0 degree. Yes. Is this in standard form? Yes. So then x plus 5 equal to 0, minus 5 minus 5. x equals -5, so I start with that one as my divisor. Coefficient here is 3, 22, 37, and 10. Bring down the 3. -5 times 3 is -15. Combine, that's 7. -5 times 7, that's -35. Combine, that's 2. -5 times 2 is -10. Combine, that's 0 remainder. So that means we don't get a fraction at the end. So if we started with a cubic, that means this is a squared. So this is 3x squared plus 7x plus 2. Hands if you got that. Let's go. You got this. And the last one. I'm bringing this one back because, like I said, all of these skills, guys, they're coming back. We're going to be doing transformations with all this stuff that you've learned so far. Let's see how well we did with the circle. To start completing the square, we divide by the leading coefficient, which is 1, so it stays the same. What do I do next? -30 minus 30. We group like variables, so x squared with a -10x. Leave an empty space, plus the y squared with a 6y, y squared plus 6y, leave an empty space, and all that equal to -30. To complete this square right here, what do? You add -10 divided by 2 squared, and here you add 6 over 2 squared. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we do to the other side of the equation. So we end up with x squared minus 10x plus 25 plus y squared plus 6y plus 9 equals to -30 plus 25 plus 9. Can I combine stuff over here? Yes. 9 plus 25 is 34 minus 30, that is 4. And for the sake of not rewriting this, I'm going to do the factoring shortcut. Square root of the first, x. Square root of the last, 5. Sine of the middle, minus, and all that squared. Plus, square root of the first, y. Square root of the last, 3. Sine of the middle, plus, and that is squared. Am I done? I'm done writing it, but we wrote it, they want us to do what? Graphics. Okay, so I need a center. Tell your neighbor the center, and I need a radius. Tell your neighbor the radius. Center and radius. All right, see if we remember. Looks like Ryland's got it, but I'm going to go over this one. Since this one has a negative here, so I just take this number and write it here. That's my 5. This one doesn't have a negative. That means I go with the opposite as a +3, so it's -3. So my center is at 5, -3. Right, Brandon? Okay, good. And my radius should be square root of 4, which is 2. Make a note, square root of 4, 2. So I go to 5, -3, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3. Put my center. And then 2 steps in all 4 directions. 2 steps up, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And that's how we make our circle. Woo-wee. We good? Yes? All right. So with that said, copy the agenda, please. Warm-up 91 is done. We're still in the middle of parabolas. Tonight's home plate is only 8 problems, 8 graphs of parabolas. Only. Was that a bam? Let's go. Bam. All right. So, I'm recording, so for those of you that are absent and you're going to watch the video, hopefully it's March now. So get out the way. Let's go. All right, with that said, copy the code. This is for your home play, 5FPWT, 5FPWT. Today we're moving on, guys. So we did plenty of practice last week with the basic parabola stuff. Today's going to get funner by the minute. Let's go. Everybody go like this. Bear with me, because it's going to get interesting in a little bit. All right? All right, get a Cornell note ready, please. You don't need a fair model since we already know what parabolas are, and we're in the middle of that. I'll give you some time. All right, here we go. Our objective for today, I can write and graph quadratic equation of a parabola. Write that down. I can write and graph a quadratic equation of a parabola. And like I said, we're in the middle of all this, and it's going to get interesting today, which is a, you're going to see how it really flows since you guys did all the practice last week. And wait a minute. Did I leave any home play over the weekend? Jay? No? All right. What did it say? Sign something. But I forgot with the other classes, so I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. Your signed pop parties, bring them tomorrow. All right. So with that said, remind your neighbor what a parabola is. By now, there should be experts at that. What is a parabola? Parabola. Thursday. To get it signed. You weren't here Friday, so I have it. No. Anthony D. Where you at? Parabola. That is correct. Equidistant points from the focus and directrix. And we know how that's formed. We've been doing that, and so on and so forth. All right. From there, we went to this, and we said, we're going to be using something similar to this. I had you guys do deriving the quadratic equation for a parabola. We came up with x squared equals 4py. We found out that that was the what? The vertical parabola. And then we came up with a horizontal parabola, yes? And we've been using both of those, yes? However, think about what you did last week. Let me pause the tunes in the back. Last week, when we did the graphing, think about it. Where was the vertex of those parabolas? Think about it. Where was the vertex? Tell your neighbor. Where was the vertex of those parabolas? Doesn't matter which direction, but where was their vertex? Danny, vertex. That is correct. It was at 0, 0, 0, 0, okay? And then we did this one because it goes through the point of origin. We did another one, point of origin, and so on and so forth. However, quick recap. When I gave you these, we first looked at the directrix to write our equations. Is that correct? So tell your neighbor, what equation would I write for this one? What equation? X squared equals 4py. That is correct. How about this one? Yeah, y squared equals 4px. And they all go through the point of origin, which is 0, 0. Thank you, Danny. So that's true. We got that. 0, 0. However, I had somebody ask a question last week. Mr. Q, what if they don't go through the point of origin? And we're like, aw, snap. Then it's a different equation. Y'all ready for the different equation today? All right, write these down. So whenever the vertex is no longer 0, 0, it's two different numbers. Here go your equations. Write those down, please. Vertical parabola, write this one. Horizontal parabola, write this one whenever the vertex is h and k, or two different numbers other than 0. That's what's up right there. Oh yeah, we got this. Now, it might look a little bit intimidating, but I'm going to show you a really quick way of identifying how to write your formula. Standard form equation. All right, here we go. So let me show you a quick way of how to go from the previous equation to this equation. Write your utensils down, look up to the screen. Here it goes. There's only a very slight difference. Look up. X squared equals 4py is the same as this one. The equal sign is there. The 4py is there. The y is there. But the only thing that changes for the x, we add what? Negative h. And for the y is what? Negative k. That's the only thing that changes. Same thing with this one. 4 is there, equal sign is there, the p is there, and instead of x, again, it's negative h. And for the y is what? Negative k. That's the only thing you need to remember. So for example, check this out. Focus. Directrix. Y equals, give me a number. 23. So, with that said, tell your neighbor, what equation do we write for that? What equation? Yeah, x squared equals 4py. Is that correct? However, that's if we have a 0 here or a 0 there. But what if from now on, instead of having that, it has two different numbers other than 0? Well, we start here. What would I write instead of x? Remind your neighbor, without looking at your notes, x minus and y minus. That's simple. Quick transfer from there to there. Everybody following? All right. So, with that said, so right now we're cruising down the beach in our beach cruiser. Then all of a sudden our tires are on fire. Copy this one. Write and graph the equation of parabola, focus 3/8, directrix y equals 2. Focus, please. Put away those Chromebooks. Bah. Once again, write and graph the equation of the parabola, focus 3/8, directrix y equals 2. Now, by now you guys have your coordinate planes, right? You should have at least 4 left from the ones we did last week, yes? All right. So with this one really quick, first things first, we look at the directrix. What is the first equation that pops up into your noodle when you see y equals 2? Tell your neighbor. What is the first equation? X squared equals 4py. Okay, hold on before you write it down. But then we look at the focus. Does the focus have a 0 anywhere there? No, which means we need to change this. Is that correct? So, tell your neighbor what to write here and what to write there. Was that right? X minus h, y minus k. That is correct. So we don't use this one anymore, but we started there, right? We needed it so that we can guide ourselves to write this one. So you can scratch that one out or erase it for right now. So for this kind of problem, though, check this out. We're going to go backwards. We're going to start with our graph, and then we're going to do the writing our equation. Okay, and then I'll show you why. So first things first, Let's underline the focus in red and plot our focus on your coordinate plane. So what's our focus? 3, 8. So let's go to 3, 8, 3, 8. In blue, y equals 2. Y equals 2. Where's y equals 2? It's right here. And then you're going to sketch a line going through that point in blue. There it is. All right. You're like, Mr. Q, looks kind of funky. I know, right? So check this out. On the side, I want you to write S, V in green, D in blue, and the letter P, and I'll address that in a little bit. So, what do you think F stands for, everyone? Focus. So let's write it in red in there. Our focus was 3, 8. Okay. So let's see as you follow along. Here we go. According to the definition, to make a parabola, we have equidistant points, Anthony D said. Equidistant points from where? From the focus to the what? To the directrix. So obviously, look up, there should be a point here on the directrix. Do you agree with that? Yes, or else there would be a gap there. So I'm going to plot a point here. So like that I can align the focus. There it is. So what is this point, everyone? Coordinates. 3 what? 3, 2. So write that in here in the blue. 3, 2. Next, to get started graphing our parabola, we said the parabola starts equidistant from these two. So tell your neighbor, what would be our first point that we plot in green? What would be our first point? Equidistant from these two. What would be that point? Tell your neighbor, please. Turn to your neighbor, let them know. What is that point, Brandon Felix? 5 is correct for the y. That is correct. 3. That is correct. 3, 5. So plot your point at 3, 5. 3, 5. Now that we have all these 3 points aligned, for tonight's home play, look up. I don't want a table with more points. All I want you to do is show me the parabola opening up from there. So tell your neighbor where it's going to open to. Where is it going to open to? Everyone, it's going to open to the focus. That is correct. So then you just kind of like mimic it and show me that it opens towards the focus. That is correct. That's what you're going to do for the home plate tonight. Yeah. Squeezy. All right, from 1 to 5 up to right there, graphing the parabola without a table, just with that information. Got 5 4s, 5 4s, okay. However, they want us to rewrite this equation given all this information. So let's see. Do we have an H and a K? H and K. Tell your neighbor what H and K stands for. Yes, write it up. Vertex is known as H and K. What is the vertex now for that parabola? 3, 5. That is correct. This is my H. This is my K. So here instead of H, I'm going to write what? 3. And instead of K, I'm going to write 5. Okay. So far, so good. However, what's missing, Mr. Q? The only thing that we need to account for is this P. What is that, Mr. Q? It's the distance from the points. So what is that, Mr. Q? This distance, and this distance is known as P. Tell your neighbor what number I'm going to substitute for P, everyone. That is correct. 3. Write that in there. And we're going to write here for P, 3. Once again, if you didn't see it, it's 1, 2, 3. Is that the same distance here? 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's what we consider P. Therefore, now that we have all values, let's bring everything else down. Let's see. X minus 3 squared 4 times 3 times y minus 5. So my new equation for this parabola is x minus 3 squared equals 12y minus 5. Did we write it already? Yes, this is our last one. This is what we need to come up with, our standard form equation for that parabola. So let me walk you through the process one more time. They gave us a focus and a directrix. What is the first thing we do? We look at the directrix and we wrote x squared equals 4py. That's true if we were to have a 0 here on the focus. Do we have a 0 here? No. So then we transform that to this new one, this and that. That's why we didn't need that one anymore, and you scratched it off. And then we went from there and we started with a graph. What did we do first? The focus, directrix. And then we wrote over here on the side, focus, vertex, directrix point, and P, which is the distance from the points. So to get started, from the focus to the directrix, there should be a point on the directrix, and we wrote that. And then we know that in between those two, equidistant, we wrote our vertex, which is 3, 5. And that's how we found the same distance here, and then same distance there, and the rest is history. All right? Let's do another one. Copy this one, please. Example 1 cube. Right, focus 4, 5, directrix y equals 1. Focus 4, 5, directrix y equals 1. Focus 4, 5, directrix y equals 1. All right. So, get us started. Vianney, what would you do first? X squared equals 4py because she looked at the directrix being y equals 1. However, this only works if the focus has what, guys? 0. So instead of, since it doesn't have zeros here, what would be my new equation? Tell your neighbor, new equation. Pass someone, Vianney. Me? What? X minus h squared equals 4p y minus k. So I no longer use that one, but it was a good start. So we're going to let that rest for a little bit. Let's go to the graphing. Here we go. Focus. Where's our focus, everyone? 4, 5. Let's go to 4, 5. Plot that. In blue, where's our directrix? Going through y equals 1. There it is. Good start. So with that said, let's get organized. Over here on the side, we're going to write F for the focus. Right underneath V in green. Right underneath that, D for our directrix point. And P for the distance between the points. All right. So, what do I write for the focus, everyone? 4, 5. Okay, that was easy. We got that. Bam. Next, we said that in order to get started with our parabola, we obviously need a point where, guys? On the directrix. Tell your neighbor what that coordinate is, please. What is that coordinate? Jacob squared. Four one. That is correct. That's 4, 1. So with that said, now that we have these points aligned, tell your neighbor the vertex. Where am I going to place the vertex? Tell your neighbor, and then Jacob squared is going to pass it to someone. Tell your neighbor the vertex. Pass someone, Jacob squared. Brandon Felix? 4, 3. That is correct. Bam. So in green, we write 4, 3. Thank you. Jaylene, at the end, come see me. 4, 3. There it is. So, tell your neighbor where that parabola is going to open up towards. Where is it going to open up towards? Show them with your hand. How is it going to look? Yeah, I see some of you like this. Anyways, yes. All right, so there it is. That is correct. From 1 to 5, I'll come to where you with the graphing so far. 5 4s, 5 4s, okay. Next. Reminder, look up. Tell your neighbor what to substitute for H and K into our equation. What do we substitute for H and K? Then Brandon and Felix is going to pass it to someone. What do we substitute for H and K? Share with your neighbor. H and K. Brandon, pass someone. Martin. H is 4. K is 3. That is correct. And we get it from here, from the vertex. H and K. Here they are. Okay. Next, what are we going to substitute for P? Talk to your neighbor, let them know where do we get that value for P. See if they remember. Where do we get the value for P? Then Martin's going to pass it to someone. Where do we get that value for P? Pass someone, Martin. J. What's the value for P? 2. That is correct. Tell your neighbor why it's 2. Why is P 2? Why is P 2? Because it's the distance between what? Between all the points. So 2 here and 2 here. That's the distance. P is 2 steps and 2 steps. So, simplify. Here we go. Bring down the x. The minus the 4 squared equals 4 times 2 times y minus 3. And our new equation is x minus 4 squared equals 8 y minus 3. Let's go. From 1 to 5, I'll come to where you guys with that so far. 5 4s, 5 4s. Which I'm assuming you could do one by yourself. Let's go. All right, example 1 super Q. Copy this one. Focus, -3 4, and directrix y equals 2. Focus, -3 4, and directrix y equals 2. Focus, -3 4, and directrix y equals 2. I'll give you a head start, and then we'll have somebody get us started with the whole process. And go. All right, get us started, please. Anthony D., go. What equation did you write? And that became, because this one doesn't have a 0, it became what? Hands if you got it to right there so far. All right. Next, get us started with the graph. Emily P., what do we graph first? Directrix, you did the directrix first, okay. Directrix is y equals 2. All right, continue, Courtney Jean, which is -3 and 4. Hands of yours looks like so far like that, okay. And then, before I continue, I go over here and I write F for focus, V for vertex, D for directrix point, and P for the distance between the points. All right, so what do I do next from here? Courtney Jean, pass someone. Kimberly, what do I do next? Before the vertex, we need a point on the -3 and 2. That is correct. -3 and 2. Our focus was -3 and 4. Okay. So now we need our vertex. Tell your neighbor the vertex that you got for that one. Then we'll have Maya enlighten us. Vertex for that one. What is our vertex? Vertex. Maya, A, vertex. -3 and 3. Hands, have you got that? That is correct. Write it in there. Okay. So with that said, show your neighbor your parabola. See where it's opening to. Where is it opening to? Where is that one opening to? Laura? To the focus. That is correct. So it should look something like this. So from 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with the graphing for tonight? 5. We got this, right? All right. Next. Tell your neighbor what P is. What is P? What is P, everyone? What is P, Bree? 1 is correct because it's the distance from here to here or from here to here. So far, so good. So now let's substitute all values. The graph is done. So P is 1. What do I write for H and K? Tell your neighbor, and then I'm going to have Jacob continue. What do I write for H and K, Jacob? -3, that is correct, and 3. Yeah, we get it from the vertex. That is correct. So, if we bring everything else down, we got x. What is negative times this -3? +3 squared equals 4 times 1, parentheses, y minus 3. Therefore, my new equation is x plus 3 squared equals 4, y minus 3. Ooh-wee. From 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with the whole process? Yeah, we got it, right? Now check this out. Notice I didn't give you any y squares because that's what was next. Look up. Look at this one. Don't copy it. Look at the directrix. What is the directrix? X. So that means I start with what? Y squared equals 4px. Is that correct? But I look at the focus. Is there a 0? No. So instead of y squared, what do I write? Y minus k squared equals 4px minus h. So far, so good? From there, I graph my focus. What is my focus? My focus is 7, 3, 7, 3. My directrix is at what? X equals negative 1, X equals negative 1. You're like, uh-oh. So watch. So let me write my information so far. Focus is 7, 3. Vertex, I don't know yet. Directrix point, I can get that in a little bit. And the distance between the points. So I go from the focus straight to the directrix. Tell your neighbor the points. What is that point? What is that point? Negative 1 and what? 3. That is correct. Therefore,